Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, April 1st. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, we are taking a look at ticker symbol MLGO, and this one has been a big mover and continues to be a big mover. This will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, but if you have, hopefully remember me talking about that resistance line right there, and you can see earlier on, got the break of it right there, and then just got great continuation today. So overall, I'm not really sure you could ask for a better start to the week. I'll go ahead and get rid of that level, and we'll start fresh here. But as far as kind of near-term levels, and if you're saying, hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest moving forward? And yeah, ideally speaking, in terms of what would make this chart look the absolute strongest moving forward, would be if the price can maintain above that trend line right there. So let me change that to green for support. With that being said, if the price falls below there, that doesn't mean the chart's ruined, destroyed, or anything like that. From the big picture point of view, not that far below, we have this secondary area right there, that purple line, the 50 period at simple moving average, keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So essentially, it's like a trend line that's drawing itself for you. So as long as the price is above that purple line, then in my opinion at least, the bulls are still in full control because no price can go straight up. But as long as the price builds higher bases, that's what it's all about. And as long as the price stays above that purple line, then by definition, that would imply the price is building those higher bases, which is by far what matters most. In terms of areas of resistance moving forward, key level to watch is that trend line right there. So we don't have a perfect upwards channel, but it's pretty close. So keep an eye on that level. But the interesting part about that is, in theory, the price could never break above that level, but the price could still continue to go higher and higher because the level, or this line here, does still have an overall upward slope to it. But all in all, any way to look at it, great movement, great way to start off the week. And it'll be interesting to see how these levels play out in regards to the next couple of days. Next one here, ICCT, absolutely monster mover today. Now, the one thing that's, it doesn't ruin anything, but it does take away one potential opportunity is for people that were maybe watching that, and hopefully they caught it. But, if you're looking to play the breakouts, well, that breakout has occurred right there and gotten that much more upside pressure through there. So, yes, that part has kind of left itself behind. But in terms of levels to watch now moving forward, first level that I find pretty interesting, and again, just one of these levels where if the price can stay above it, right here at $1.27, and that's just based on the foundational rule in charting, that when levels of resistance are broken, again, we can establish that as being an area of resistance right there, but when they're broken, they tend to act as support, and if that can be the case, that would be, that would have the chart look very, very healthy, because if the price were to come down there and then stay above that level, then you'd have a set of lows there, you'd have lows there, you'd have lows there, then you'd have the previous ones down there, and if you envision each of those as stair-steps, then overall stair-steps would still be very clearly in the upwards direction. But as I just talked about, by no means is that the be-all, end-all. From the overarching standpoint, just watch that purple line there. Again, as you now know, the 50-period moving average. So as that line moves higher and higher for you, just want to envision that as a trend line that's drawn itself for you. But from the overarching standpoint, as long as the price does stay above the quote-unquote trend line, then the overall trend still plenty in the bulls' favor. In terms of areas of resistance, no need to overcomplicate this. Just ask the question, where did the party finally stop today? And the party stopped right up there at about the $2 mark. So keep a close eye on that. But all in all, great volume, great volatility today. So we'll see if the momentum carries into Tuesday. Next one here, NWTG. And this is at a very interesting moment right now. And the reason for that is all about that pink line there, which is mapping out on my chart, the very well-known, very famous 200-period moving average, which does tend to act as resistance. And so far, that is exactly what's playing out. Rejected the price there, try to get above it, but right now it is kind of stuck in that area. Now, just because it tends to act as resistance does not mean it will always be resistance, and that's why when prices can get through those levels, it becomes very significant because key levels have actually been broken, which does require strength. So that'll be, at least in my opinion, the main question mark moving forward into Tuesday is, can the price actually get enough strength to not necessarily break above the pink line? Because as you can see here, the price has broken above it. But can the price actually maintain the break? Can the price get more separation to the upside? Or is this pink line here going to just continue to kind of drain the momentum, which as of right now, that's what's occurred. Every time the price gotten up around that area, the momentum has disappeared and back down it's went. So that's definitely the main dynamic from the resistance and kind of continuation standpoint. Can the price maintain above and start to get some separation from that pink line? And then in terms of areas of support, Well, once again, we have our trusty 50-period moving average right there. So as that line moves higher and higher, then the price, again, is still building those higher bases. So no problem at all if the price wants to pull back some more, because it could come down here and then skyrocket and then come down here and skyrocket and come down here. And each and every one of those times, well, you'd still have the price building higher bases, and that's what it's all about. So as of now, as I speak, and that's why I like to do these when the market is open, you can see here pretty rough rejection as it gets rejected back down. But again, to be fair, not anywhere close to that purple line there. So we'll see if the price can indeed get some sort of breakout through that level over the next couple of days. Next one here, TSLL, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watch past videos, but if you have, I was talking about that overall trend line right there and talking about how Friday was not the greatest. It was still around that level. Sure, it was slightly below it, but I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. But today, no question about it, this one was just firmly rejected down below that level. So the bulls have given up quite a bit of their gains. In fact, I'm just going to get those lines out of there as they've served their purpose for now. Now, to give credit where credit's due, very nice bounce from where what price was at its lows right there to where it is right now. Good solid bounce, but still a whole lot more work that needs to be done. And that first bit of quote-unquote work now is involving that purple line there, which is now, at this point, a level of resistance. The first three charts we were looking at would be considered an area of support, but because the price is now below it, this would be considered an area of resistance. So if this upwards bounce is going to continue, then that's where the first kind of big question mark is going to be, right up around the $10.17 mark. Now that level is going to be changing because, again, this line is moving, it's changing, so therefore this price is going to be moving around. But point being, keep an eye on that 50-period right there if this upwards move is going to continue. And then in terms of areas of support, in my opinion, pretty important that the price now stays above the pink line right there, because if the price were to come down below it, well, then what do you have? You have the price essentially going right back to where it started. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make nice moves and then go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of a genuine bounce. Again, I'm not saying that's what's going to occur, but that is why, in my opinion, that pink line there right now valued about $9.10. Very, very important. Next one, NVDA, and like a lot of these other ones, had a rough gap down, but to give credit where credit's due, nice little bounce here underway, but let's get some updates here mapped out. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that level. And then first key update is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So if this upwards bounce does continue, this is now going to be the kind of key battleground and key question mark point. Can the price not only get up to $1.09, but can the price actually have enough strength to push up through it? So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. But even if the price does push above there, I wouldn't get overly excited because maybe you noticed, but looming up overhead is our good friend, the 50-period moving average. But again, because the price is below it, you would think that this could have a very real possibility of behaving as resistance. In terms of levels of support, that level that I would call kind of the must-hold area, because as I just talked about, we don't want to see price movements going back to where they were. So therefore, right there around the 105 mark, I would consider very, very important, because if the price were to come down here and then break below it, as I just discussed, when all of a sudden the price is essentially right back to where it started, which is just not a sign of a genuine strong bounce. But as right now, it is bouncing strong. Is it a genuine strong bounce? Let's see if the price can at least make some progress. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description area you can use. Or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, PLTR. Again, like most of these, gap down, very strong bounce. Now, the nice thing about this bounce is it was able to reclaim some of these areas of support. So it was not a good start at all, how it broke down through both of these areas of support. But now with the price getting the bounce back upwards, it's one of those situations where, okay, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, don't get me wrong, but definitely nice to see the price make such a strong move. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level. And in terms of next key levels of resistance to watch moving forward, really, in my opinion, all about the pink line up there, that 200-period moving average, which you can see the price never hit it back here, but you can see it kind of just skated right up around that area and could never quite push through there. So yes, again, easily to say, very nice bounce today. Is there true power? Let's see if it can make progress. Let's see if it can stay above that area. In terms of what would be the quote-unquote progress point, I would say let's see if it can stay up there above $80.50 for those reasons. It would be the last time I say it, but if the price were to come down here and break below it, you get the idea. Now all of a sudden the price has gone back to where it was, which is just not a sign of a genuine bounce. Next one here, taking a look at NIO, and it wasn't the most clean of breakouts, but this falling wedge that I mapped out last week did indeed get the breakout. And I just say it just wasn't clean because there was actually a gap down, came down here, then recovered back inside of the pattern, and then got the break right here and is now working on getting more continuation of that breakout. So this falling wedge pattern has gotten the break to the upside, so I'll get rid of those levels. And now it just goes back to that question that we've been talking about, so I'm going to start to go through quicker. But yes, no doubt about it, from the lows where it was to where it is right now, very nice bounce. So in terms of battlegrounds to watch moving forward, keep an eye on that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. And then in terms of the quote-unquote progress point, in this situation, I would call that down there right around the $3 and what is that, about 67-cent mark. So keep an eye on that to see whether or not this breakout is going to continue to show progress. And then also watch that purple line there as a key battleground. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. So again, got to give credit where credit's due. Very nice bounce. What would the progress point in this one be? I would consider that the 200-period moving average right here. The pink line right now valued at the 250 mark. So moving forward, you want to see the price stay above 250 because that would represent progress, which you know is the name of the game if this is going to be some sort of truly strong bounce. And then as far as battlegrounds are concerned, continue to watch that purple line right there, 50-period moving average as the next big battleground to fight through. But yeah, no doubt about it. Tesla, very, very nice bounce today, but let's see if it can continue to show signs of health via that progress moving into the next few days. Next one here, WOLF. Wolf talked about this falling wedge in yesterday's video. And yeah, not very clean, gap down, but then came back up, got the breakout, and is now getting very good, solid continuation. So another great example of the falling wedge pattern and now getting some good, solid upward momentum. In terms of areas of resistance, I think the next key battleground for this one to keep a close eye on, right there around $3.30, and then the quote-unquote progress point, I would call right down here around the $2.54 mark. So let's see if the price can make progress. But no doubt about it, very, very nice breakout, very, very nice bounce, however you want to look at it. So can the price make progress? Can the price build up or break up through some of these areas here? We'll see what happens. And then finally, once again, and that's just how the market was today. A lot of these stocks started rough, got good bounces. So it's really just a matter of mapping out some of these progress points. But Amazon was no different. Nasty gap down, nasty opening 30 minutes as the price bled, and then boom, like that, spent the rest of the day. Very, very nice bounce. So in terms of the progress point, I would call this one right here on Amazon around the 187 mark. And then in terms of next key battlegrounds, unlike the other ones, which had that 50-period as the next key battleground, I would say the key battleground here on on Amazon would be this gap close location, which sits right here around the 192 mark. If the price can push up through 192, then yes, at that point, it makes a little bit more sense to start to focus on that purple line there, 50-period moving average. So as that line continues to move itself downwards, it'll get more and more relevant as a quote-unquote resistance trend line. But like I said, before you put really any emphasis on that, more so curious about can the price break up through this gap close location at 192. But all in all, very, very nice bounce here from Amazon. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, then definitely go get signed up for the class. Like I said, it'll be later this week, Thursday, April 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. And then as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do a couple things for me. Hit that like button. And if you're looking for a very free and easy way to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button as it really does help out. So thanks for watching and make sure you go get signed up for the free class.